First game of the week is the Thursday night game. Go ahead.
You got the Rams +3 at San Francisco.
Yeah, so I think the Rams are on a mission right now and recognize they control their own playoff destiny. When they're rolling, they are as dangerous as any team in that conference. The Niners are not nearly as good as they looked last week. They also are not going to have Trent Williams again this week, so that's a problem. They're not going to have another offensive lineman, Ben Barch. That's a problem. They're not going to have their safety, Mustafa, who's, the guy who plays. One of the reasons we've seen so much from him is because Hufanga's out. It has been out. They probably will have Bosa, but they might not have Bosa. Their third-string running back, Isaac Guerrero, they might not have him. Meanwhile, the Rams, the only guys who we know are not playing are Kobe Durant and Tyler Higbee. It's a short week. They're the better team. They need the game. I'm getting points. I don't mind the LA to San Francisco travel, so I like the Rams +3. Brock Purdy's only covered 1 of his last 8 games against teams over 500, and so I like the Rams in this spot. Your thoughts, Tomaze?
I love that pick. I think the Rams are going to get him tonight. I think they're going to get them.
Yeah, I mean, I might put a little bit on the Rams on the money line, but I certainly like them +3. All right, next.
Yeah. You got Carolina -2.5 versus Dallas. Look at that, man.
All right,
Carolina
so this is the
favorite.
first time Carolina's been a favorite
Yeah, love
in
to see
34 games. It's the first time Bryce has been a favorite since Alabama. I think last week's loss ended the Cowboys. I think the way it de facto eliminated from the playoffs, even though they were already really eliminated, it was like, well, if we win out, we're alive. So I think that kills them. I think that Overshawn injury is devastating emotionally and actually because he's one of their best players. Obviously, Micah struggled with that loss massively. Carolina, on the other hand, after beating the Saints and the Giants, played the Chiefs to a field goal at the gun, played the Bucks to overtime, and played the Eagles as close as you can play a team when you lose by 6. Had a perfect play touchdown to go up 1 with 40 seconds left that was dropped. Carolina feels great after their loss. Dallas feels devastated, and I do wonder if the Cowboys pack it in a bit. You then add to the fact that this is one of the rare spots where if you're Carolina, you're like, we definitively have the better quarterback in this game. And so Vegas finally had to adjust. Carolina had covered 5 straight, and this line opened Carolina by 1.5, and it's just moved in their favor. But I think Carolina's going to win. I'd like it more at 1.5 than 2.5, and it might get up to 3 by kickoff. But I think Dallas is done for the season. I think Carolina has been this close to winning, and I think they break through this week. I like Carolina minus the 2.5. I just think they're better than the Cowboys right now.
First time they've been favored in 34 games, though. It was sketchy betting on them. But yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Cooper Rush is not good.
All right, this one is going to shock America. My pick.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so just a nasty game. You got the Jets -3 at Jacksonville.
Betting on the Jets. The first time in Rodgers' tenure that I'm taking the Jets in Nick's picks, and I'm laying points. And the reason for that is the Jags right now, I know they won this past week. I truly believe they're the worst team in the league. I also think as right as I've been about the Jets, they're not 3-14 bad. They might be 5-12 bad. but they're not 3-14. We might get the number 2 pick of the draft bad. I don't think the Jets are going to mail anything in because I think Aaron is still trying to prove he deserves a job somewhere next year. So the Jets had the Dolphins beat and found a way to blow that game. Yeah. I think the Jets actually get a fairly easy victory this week. So that I'd lay 4 in this game if I had to. I honestly think this is a 24-9 type of victory for the New York Jets. And they break their, God, what losing streak are they on? 6-game, 7-game losing streak? Whatever it is, it's mortifying. The 4-game losing streak, pardon me. They were 2-1, so they've lost 9 of 10 and 4 in a row. I think that the Jets, they have too many. Garrett Wilson's trying to prove he deserves a new contract. Aaron's trying to prove he deserves his place in this league next year. Jeff Ulbricht's trying to prove he at least can be a D coordinator somewhere again because he's not going to be a head coach. The Jags, meanwhile, are playing out the string with Mac Jones as the quarterback. No one has been more down on the Jets than me this year. I'm 3-1 when I pick against them in Nick's picks. This is my first time picking on them in Nick's picks. I'll take the Jets -3.
Yep. I can't say that I love it. I would never bet on the Jets after.
Listen, yeah, I would never bet on the Jets is a winning gambling philosophy. But this is the rare time that I'm going with it. All right, next.
You've got Tampa Bay +3 at the Chargers.
Yeah, I just think that Tampa's better than the Chargers. And the Chargers this year, at some point, they're going to have to beat a team that has a pulse. I brought this up before. I'll bring it up again. Their best win, to me, was the Bengals win. But we then saw the Cowboys almost beat the Bengals. They did beat the Broncos, but that was early Bo Nix when he was really struggling. Their other wins, Raiders, Panthers in week 2, they got Bryce benched, Saints, Browns, Titans, Falcons. And the Falcons game they tried to lose. The Chargers have not looked good the last 3 weeks. The Ravens cracked them. The Falcons gave that game away with the 4 Kirk Cousins picks, and they obviously just lost to the Chiefs. The Bucs, on the other hand, need every game. They've won 3 in a row. Now, they didn't look overly impressive in that Raider game, but that Chargers offense right now is really struggling. And Tampa knows if they can win this game, they then go Cowboys, Panthers, Saints to end the year, and they're going to win the division. They lose this game, and Atlanta can retake control of the division. So all of that is at the Chargers, meanwhile, are in kind of an odd, now that they lost to the Chiefs and the pipe dream of winning the division is over, they're in an odd motivational space where they need to win one more game the rest of the year to lock up a playoff spot. And after the Bucs game, it's Broncos, then Patriots, Raiders. So the Chargers can't win the division, basically can't fall out of the wild card. They just came off an emotionally devastating defeat to Kansas City. I don't love how they're playing. The Chargers love playing close games, so laying 3 points or getting 3 points is valuable to me anyway. I like how Baker's been playing, even though he is turning the ball over. I'll take Tampa going East Coast to West, which you know I don't love, but going East Coast to West, Tampa getting 3. I just think they can win, and 3 points is too many points. All right, last one.
Show. You got Detroit -2.5 versus Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, this line should be 4. Buffalo's excellent, but Detroit's better than Buffalo right now, and they're at home. So, if they're equivalent teams, it's 2.5. And I think that Detroit is going to be able to run the ball on Buffalo. I also think that teams that have multiple quality receivers can really punish the Bills' secondary. But against Detroit, you have to stop the run first and foremost. So I think if they dedicate those guys to the run, I think Goff can cook a bit. And if they decide to play too high, they'll just run all over you. And so I think Buffalo's really good. But I think Detroit wins this game 30-24, something like that. And there is also, for me personally, Buffalo losing this game is the ideal because then the Chiefs all but lock up the 1 seed. But so that's why I'm rooting for Detroit. But I'm picking Detroit because I think that this line should be 3.5 instead of 2.5. That obviously that 3 is the most key number imaginable in this matchup. So I'll take Detroit minus the 2.5. I think Goff plays really well and gets himself firmly in the MVP, top of the MVP conversation. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.